Welcome to our in-depth guide on ancestral rituals for Samhain. We'll be walking through everything needed to meaningfully connect with beloved ancestors during this profoundly sacred time of year. Let's begin with the most important first step, setting up the physical space. For a sabbat like Samhain, choose a location that feels liminal, somewhere cozy yet imbued with a sense of the mysterious. An indoor spot by a fireplace works well, or an outdoor location under the moonlight. Once the perfect spot has been selected, it's time to create the ancestral altar, the central focus for veneration. The altar should include photographs or cherished mementos representing ancestors. Seasonal offerings like apples or pomegranates are recommended as their symbolism of life, death, and rebirth aligns beautifully with Samhain. Samhain-themed items like black candles can help set the tone. Candles representing the element of fire are fitting for this sabbat. The color black symbolizes the protective veil between the worlds. Be sure to energetically cleanse and sanctify the entire space before use through techniques like smoke cleansing, ringing a bell to clear stagnant energies, or ritually casting a sacred circle defining the space as sealed off from mundane influences. This process readies the dedicated area for meaningful ancestor work. Now comes a vital part of the ritual, actually connecting with your ancestors. Meditation is ideally suited for spiritually linking with those who have passed on. Sit comfortably near the altar, close your eyes, and focus on steadying the breath. Then, allow your consciousness to gradually connect with your familial lineage, picturing the faces of all who came before you. Envision your ancestry like links on a chain or branches on a tree, reaching from past through present. If names are unknown, simply send an intent of communion out into the spiritual ether. While meditating, maintain an open mind and heart, receptive to any messages or signs from beloved ancestors who wish to communicate across the veil. Stay alert for sensations like a temperature change, a fleeting aroma, or images that spontaneously arise. Ancestral calling cards are another excellent way to signal your desire to connect with specific ancestors. Calling cards are items that held deep significance or meaning to a particular ancestor. For example, placing great-grandfather's pocket watch on the altar can act like dialing his number before attempting communication. Other calling cards might be a grandmother's favorite flower, an old cigar that uncle used to smoke, or a song that stirs up memories of a deceased parent. Incorporate these evocative items into meditations or rituals to call in that particular ancestor's presence and open the channels for communion. Divination provides additional avenues for seeking wisdom and guidance from one's ancestral line. There are a few methods that are especially suited for Samhain. The tarot is an excellent choice. Consider using a tarot spread designed specifically to ask questions of ancestors or receive their messages. One spread could have positions like advice from my mother's side, lessons from ancestors who faced hardship, how my paternal grandfather sees my future. As you gently turn over each card, hold an intention of linking the symbols and imagery of the tarot directly to your ancestors' wisdom. Rune casting is another divination method powerfully aligned with connecting to the ancient wisdom of your ancestors. Respectfully cast runes upon the altar while concentrating on your lineage, then interpret each one that lands face up as a symbolic message or sign. Runes like Othala for heritage, Raito for journeying, or Ansuz for ancestral blessing may appear to guide you. Rune work requires study to understand meanings, but allows deep access to the well of ancestral knowledge. Pendulum divination provides a simpler way of getting yes or no guidance by suspending a crystal or weighted pendant over the altar while focusing on your ancestors. Establish the pendulum's unique movements for yes and no beforehand through a process known as calibration. Then clearly frame questions one by one. For example, ancestors, is my current partner meant to be my life mate? Or should I accept this job offer at the university? Let the pendulum swing freely as it channels energy from the ancestral plane. Moving beyond communication, crafts allow you to tangibly honor ancestors through artistic expression. One idea is an ancestor tribute jar, a vessel filled with small items representing or remembering those who came before you. A simple mason jar works beautifully. Items to place inside might include photos, jewelry, written remembrances, and even soil from a place special to that ancestor. Seal the jar, wrap it in a black cloth, and let it stand as a focal point on the altar for connecting through sight and touch. Crafting an ancestral talisman is another way to find guidance and protection from those beyond the veil. Take an item deeply connected to an ancestor, like a keepsake or heirloom. Combine this with other elements like crystals, herbs, oils, or cloth. Bind and assemble these ingredients into a small pouch or bundle. When creating the talisman, call in the power of your ancestor to imbue it with their particular strengths or qualities you wish to invoke. Carry or wear this protective, blessed item beyond Samhain. Spellcraft also serves as a potent method for communing with ancestral energy. Write or select an incantation specifically asking your ancestors for any assistance or wisdom you may need at this moment in life. Focus on a particular issue like health, finances, or career. Light black and orange candles on the altar to signify Samhain while reciting the spell work. Use a quill, fountain pen, or any writing instrument that connects you to the wisdom of the written word. Perform this spell work adhering to principles of focused intent and ethical practice. Beyond communication and manifestations, storytelling comes into play as a profound way to honor the living memories of all who came before you. Family stories are the treasured oral history that spans generations. Preserving and retelling these tales honors ancestors by breathing renewed life into their faded footsteps. Cherish the stories of triumph and tragedy, ordinary moments and life-changing events. Share these narratives at the Samhain altar, or record them in written or digital formats to safeguard their legacy. Allow elders the opportunity to recount their valuable memories for the benefit of youth. And now we come to a cornerstone of human gathering, food and feasting. In all its forms, food links both body and spirit. Thoughtfully prepared meals or treats can strengthen us and tie us closer to our ancestors and the land that sustained them. Bake an heirloom recipe that's been passed down verbally or on paper-stained cards. Gather harvest foods that your ancestors would have relied on like apples, squash, and nuts. Knead the dough by hand, peel and slice the apples. Be fully present with each motion. A beautiful way to incorporate food and feasting is through a dumb supper, a simple meal eaten completely in silence to heighten awareness and be fully present with beloved ancestors. Eliminate all distractions, including conversation, during this symbolic supper. Set an empty place at the table and include your ancestors' preferred dishes. Allow the essence of family communion to permeate the wordless dinner through the senses alone. Smell familiar scents, taste comforting flavors, bask in the unspoken kinship. Food becomes ritual through small gestures like placing an offering of salted bread outside under the night sky. Libations can be poured out onto the earth in remembrance. Even a humble meal becomes an act of homage when you visually acknowledge ancestors through symbols like an empty plate or goblet designated just for them. As we near the end, let's discuss how to properly conclude the rituals and close the space. Walk in a counterclockwise or Widdershins direction around the space to unwind the energies gathered there throughout the rites. You may hold a candle, a bell, or burning sage while making the rounds. Offer words of thanks and farewell to the ancestors, honoring them for heeding your invitation to commune across the veil. They will depart when the time is right for you to return to mundane space. Show gratitude for any guidance or blessings they've shared. Finally, mindfully dismantle your altar, carefully wrapping tools and treasured items for next year's rituals. Store them respectfully instead of haphazardly. Maintain the vibration of sacredness in their restful place until Samhain comes round again and they energetically reawaken. We hope this provides a meaningful overview of considered ways to honor your ancestors during Samhain. Set the space, commune through chosen mediums, share stories and sustenance, then seal the experience with reverence. The devoted practice strengthens bonds across the veil that remain unbroken. Our time today has reached its end. May your ancestral connections thrive this season and always. Blessed be.